we see it every weekend of people just saying, you know, I just couldn't live without my steak on the weekend. Well, there are options, and I think maybe in vitro meats and lab meats could bridge that gap, because realistically people want real meat on their plate. In vitro meat is that. It's artificially created, but in a biological sense it is exactly the same as animal flesh, which kind of freaks me out a bit. I don't know. I definitely personally wouldn't put that into my body, but I know that for people already insistent on an omnivorous diet, this could be a really great option.
Personally, I probably wouldn't eat it because of all the health issues.
I definitely think it's a very unusual concept for the already vegans. I think that one of the main conflicts people have transitioning is they don't have that meat, the actual physical meat on their plate.
People have this idea that vegetables just aren't substantial.
We live in this Australian culture where meat and 3 veg has always been our tradition, but that doesn't mean that traditions can't change, and there's no excuse for us to consume animal products. It's unnecessary and it's bad for our health. So if there's another option and people are open to trying that, I think that's a really great way to start transitioning people into a vegan diet. The biggest challenge will be to get people to stop thinking of this as science fiction. And I think if a lot of people see a package of lab meat, in vitro meat, they might be skeptical at first, just because it does sound genetically modified, it sounds chemical, it sounds scary. But honestly, if they're willing to put the flesh of a living creature in their mouth, I really don't understand why this wouldn't be an option for them as well. In terms of being able to sell these products to a consumer, the companies will look at ways to kind of greenwash the product. But yeah, in terms of the ways that they could advertise, I think calling this meat cultured meat could take away those connotations of lab and technology and that sort of thing. The product itself is meat. It is grown meat, and it is exactly the same as the muscle tissue from animals. It's been suggested that they won't even need to relabel this meat. It could actually just go on the shelves and consumers may not even know the difference between what they're eating.
And away from like the meat side of it, it will help a lot in the research aspect. Like, we hopefully won't need any animals to be tested on for pharmaceuticals or makeup, because we'll be able to grow human skin and flesh that sounds so weird in like this way, so that like biomedical engineering, so that we won't need to use animals in such an unnecessary sense.
See, killing an animal is not a personal choice, but choosing in vitro meats or these lab-grown meats, it's more of a personal choice, because even if it's not as healthy for you, it's only affecting you. You're not paying for someone to be killed, or it's ethically a lot more viable, and it's just, I think it's definitely progress.
Yeah, I think in terms of whether in vitro meat is ethical or not, I think it is. In terms of the amount of animals that it will save, there's no number.
One thing I was talking to someone the other day about is the thing with this in vitro meat though. If we can, we get a sample from a cow or whatever, and we can make fake cow meat, where does that end? Can we then have baboon meat and giraffe meat and,
If we start consuming lab meats and this becomes a regular part of our culture, it kind of perpetuates the idea that animals are there to be consumed. It could have the potential to lead to a more speciesist idea in society. Yeah,
it's kind of like a dominion, We've already been eating these animals and killing them and farming them for so long, and now we can make them, like we can clone their flesh. It's a bit disturbing, but it just shows the power that humans have and how far we've come.
Essentially, we see other animals as being here for our own consumption, when in fact we've just been placed on this earth to create a balance, which we've thrown out completely. So lab meat could perpetuate that speciesist culture and that idea that humans are still at the top of the food chain. But I think, we have highlighted the possibilities of a positive future. And I mean, at the end of the day, if it means that the environment will be helped and if it means that the animals will be saved, then I think that could be okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching, and we hope that you go vegan, and we hope that we see just a future that will lead us away from animal consumption and exploitation.
We can live in harmony and hug everyone.